Yo, what is up, Illuminati? Bradley here. I am joined in this moment by our Packers owner, Steady. Steady, thank you for being here tonight.
Dude, thank you for having me. It's great to be here. It truly is an honor. A lot of amazing people have been around these parts, and to be amongst their ranks, it's truly magical. Even though I've kind of already been in this spot before, but
Yeah,
yeah, maybe that's some like yeah, I'm pretty cool. So to like be in my own presence is pretty
yeah,
sweet. That's right.
I dig it. I feel like I don't know how this is gonna come across, but are you like are you like new Evo?
What do you mean by that? I
Like
mean, me and Evo are pretty different people. There's
like
some similarities.
Evo before. I feel like was the main guy with the commentary stuff, the media presence for Illuminati, right? Like, are you new Evo? Like
I mean,
Evo hates us, and he basically disowned us. Like Evo disowned us, and he's not come back. He's not come back, and I'm bitter about it. I'm really bitter. Evo,
well,
if you're watching this, Evo, I hate you. I hate you, Evo. No, I'm joking. I love you, Evo. Come back.
I think
Come back, Evo.
we share some similarities. I mean, we're both Packers fans. That's how I met Evo.
Yeah?
I mean, that's how this
Did
all
you?
started. Yeah.
Yeah?
He pulled me in because I took the Packers in some trash league, and he was like, "Oh, you're a Packers fan. Come hang out with me." And then that was about it. But I don't possess many of the media skills that he does. But I have called games of plenty. I know he's done that. I've called a few games in his league for him.
Yeah?
So, um, maybe a little, but he's also like married and has like 30 kids and all this stuff, and like I'm not really there yet. Like I'm a young buck who's got a lot left in the
Yeah.
tank. So, you know,
Anyways,
different in that regard.
we've not gathered here to discuss Evo. Maybe sometime we can do like an Evo special and just talk about Evo.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
but that's not today. We are
No.
here. We are here, joined in this moment to discuss a significant event that is on the horizon. At the time of this recording, it is 11:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, February 5th, 2025. In less than 24 hours from now, we will be going live with the opening ceremony of the Illuminati. That opening ceremony will feature Nick and his Chiefs colliding with Jumper and his Eagles in an Illuminati Super Bowl. We are simming straight through season one up to the season one Super Bowl. We are forcing the Chiefs Eagles Super Bowl to simulate IRL, and this will basically be the opening ceremony for the league, and then we will officially dive into things in the off season. So technically, we're starting in the off season with the Super Bowl opening ceremony, and we're going into the Super Bowl, and we're doing a controversial thing. We are honoring the Super Bowl as a Super Bowl. Like we're doing a crazy thing that I think everybody in their right mind would be like, Brad, why are you doing that? That's dumb. We are honoring it as a Super Bowl. Steady. What does this game actually mean? Like I'm saying we're honoring it as a Super Bowl, but what does it actually mean? Like what are we doing, Steady?
Well, it really depends on what the players in the community makes of it. You know, I think if Jumper goes ahead and wins and he's like, "Yeah, back to back, baby. Look at me. I'm so amazing," right? Everyone might like crap on and be like, "Dude, what the hell, man? What are you talking about? You're delusional." And then, on the other side, if Nick shocks the world and comes away with a shocking win, they might be a little more receptive of that, and it'll be, people would be like, "Wow, what a crazy game! That's wild! What now the Illuminati's back in return? How exciting!" Either way, though, there is going to be a massive asterisk on this game. People are going to have their doubts, but the decision's been made and it is going to be honored as a real Super Bowl win. So, a big opportunity for both of these men.
We talked about it a little bit in our last the stream we did. Was it last weekend? Like I think it was last
I
weekend. I don't
think it was a
remember when it
week,
was.
maybe a week or two ago. I don't know. It was pretty recent,
Yeah,
within 2 weeks.
we talked about it a little bit on that, but let me just kind of dive a bit into my thoughts on it. Right, so like we're honoring it as a Super Bowl, and like it's a Super Bowl, but it's not. Like they've not gone through the league, right? They've not gone through the gauntlet. Like nothing's actually been earned. But like I feel like in the same breath, while they've not gone through the gauntlet, I feel like narratively speaking, it is the close of a chapter for the league, right? Like if we backtrack, right? Like, or let me say this, right? As we go into the season, we're going into technically it's season 4. This is our 4th season of play, right? And you look at our Hall of Champions, there's only 2 banners that are hung. We never finished that 3rd season, right? So there is no bowl winner for that 3rd season. I feel like this game kind of puts an end to that story, right? Like we didn't finish that season and there was like a year and a half to like a 2-year hiatus that has brought us up to this present moment. As we go into this, like I am fully aware, like I say we're honoring this as a Super Bowl, like I'm fully aware it's not a Super Bowl, right? But I think it's an important moment for our legacy, and I don't want to take away from what's already been done and what's already been accomplished, right? Like I don't want to take away from our previous bowl winners, right? Like there's only 2 of them. But like I feel like those 2 bowl wins, right? Like those 2 Super Bowls, like they were extremely meaningful. They were extremely important. And while the legacy is not deep, it is very rich. I don't want to take away from that. And like so, what we're doing, and I know you're already aware of this, Teddy, but the rest of the league is not. Um, our Super Bowl winners, they got belts, right? The winner of this bowl that we're going into, they're going to get a belt. The belt they are going to get will not be the same belt that was won in season 1 and season 2 of the league. They will get an entirely new belt, right? The belts that had already been won in season 1 and 2, to protect that legacy, that belt will never be given again. In the same breath, the belt that we're about to give out for this bowl, it is a belt that will additionally never be given out again. What is done and what we are about to, what is done, and what we are about to do once it is done, it is done. And as we move forward, we will usher in a new legacy. But this moment right now that we're about to go into, it might not be the moments that have previously come or the moments that will come, but it is a moment of importance. We had floated like a hypothetical like term as we look at the winner of this game in our previous stream, and that hypothetical like name that we had for the winner of this game, it is going to be the name of the championship that they're about to fight for, and that is simply the bringer of rain. It has been a year and a half to 2 years that our community has been in a desert place. We've been in a desert place. There has been no rain. Rather it be Jumper or rather it be Nick, one of them, as we go into this opening ceremony, they are about to bring rain to this community as we usher in a new day.
the symbolism is inspiring, truly. They
Good.
finally are bringing life to this barren wasteland that is the connected franchise mode community. And
I love
now
it.
our savior is come here to save everybody and do his thing, and we're gonna come back and be on top of the world and thrive. It's gonna be great. We will prosper.
Yes. Truth. So, Jumper, Nick, it's the matchup. What do you think?
Well, truthfully, I think fate is cruel because we could have had somebody if we would have had two users that I would consider equal face off, it would have been a competitive game, but I don't think we're headed towards that. I think we're headed on a disastrous, crash course to a blowout win, a huge, massive win for Jumper and his Eagles. And let me tell you why. I mean, we already talked about this a few weeks back, but we've seen our Chiefs user. He built a good squad. He could not produce on the field, and now he's got a chance at redemption. And it would be magical if he can do something with it. He's got a great team, certainly the upper hand, but I don't think the coaching's there. I think heartbreak might be imminent. And then he has to go watch because he is a Chiefs fan, yes. Then he has to watch a real Super Bowl where the real Chiefs maybe make him relive the heartbreak of potentially losing this third Illuminati Bowl to the Eagles. So tragedy could be in store. Right now, I think the road is paved for Jumper to do big things. Go ahead.
So, I feel like that sentiment you have there, I feel like it's echoed by the vast majority of the league. I think the vast majority of the league, as we approach this, they're like, "Yeah, Jumper's got this, like no contest." Like, I don't think that's the case, right? Like, I'm not convinced what we saw from Nick in our last run is Nick. I feel like I feel like he was half in, half out, not all the way there. I've heard that like I believe he's won bowls in other leagues. And like I don't care what league it is, like you win a bowl in a 32 user CFM, like that's a big deal, right? Um Additionally, like Nick also holds an interesting spot in the community, right? Like he is the guy who owns and operates Madden Core, the largest Madden Discord server on the Discord, over 13,000 users, right? Like so like he's a prominent like community figure. Like does any of this weigh at all into this matchup, right? Like I mean he's done it in other places and like he holds this prominent role in the community, right? Like are we like writing him off when we shouldn't be writing him off? Because I feel like we shouldn't be writing him off and everybody is.
I don't know if you can even call it writing him off when he's written himself off, if anything. We have when we saw him here in this league, he could not do anything and he had a great team. And now he's got a chance to do it again, and I just see no reason why things will change. I think it's wonderful that he can bring people together. But at the end of the day, when he's on the gridiron and the X's and the O's are out there, can he bring those guys together, those players? He can bring owners in and coaches, but can he himself lead a team? I haven't seen it. It's not. He's got to prove himself. He has something to prove out there, and I think the odds of us seeing are just so poor. It's unbelievable. Like you said, it is an echo chamber. The rest of the league is on the same page, and I mean nobody really has any hope for the Kansas City Chiefs, which is funny because that's kind of like the real life Super Bowl. It's the opposite. Everyone's like, "Wow, the Chiefs are about to three-peat." And the only thing that stands in his way is Jalen Hurts, Saquon, and the Eagles. Like, what are we gonna do? And now in our universe, it's the opposite. Jumper is the Mahomes, which is crazy to say, but that's really where we are.
How good is Jumper? Like we're making it out like it's just no contest, right? But like if we rewind to the last Super Bowl, right? When he, I know you don't want to rewind, but we can leave certain details out of the picture, okay? Like we'll leave certain details out of the picture, okay? But if we were to rewind, okay, that when he went into that Super Bowl, right? Like he was not favored at all, right? Like he went into that Super Bowl like he was the Nick. He was the Nick, and he was going against, I'm not going to say who, but he was going against a certain user that was touted to just absolutely destroy him. And people were like, Jumper shouldn't even be here, you know? Like, have we flipped the script on Jumper? Like, is Jumper good? Because, like, last time, like, that's not what we would have said.
Well, I still don't think that's what we'd say in that hypothetical matchup, but the truth is, when you compare the two, okay, listen. If I were to be in a spelling bee against like my little sister who's like 7, I'd crush her. But that doesn't make me like the GOAT. That doesn't make me the Michael Jordan, the LeBron James of spelling, because I was able to crush, when I was someone that I clearly outmatch, you know. I think it's just a favorable spot to be, and many expect him to take full advantage of it. I certainly think. Now, what do you think about this? Do you think it hurts Jumper's legacy if now, when he's favored and he's playing against somebody who has struggled in the past, does it hurt his legacy if he disappoints and comes up short?
Absolutely. I don't think it just hurts his legacy. I think it hurts the legacy of the entire league. I feel like for the sake of the league, like Jumper has to go in and Jumper has to win. I feel like if he doesn't, like he like listen, when we were talking about how like we're gonna like honor this as a Super Bowl, like H Coke was in chat. Okay? He was in chat. He was in the Twitch chat and it responded and he basically said that we're making the previous bowls mean nothing, right? So like we're going into this and like that has to be in the back of like Jumper's mind, you know? Like Jumper has the power to shut that up. If he doesn't, like if Jumper goes in and loses, right? And like Nick pulls it off, like does Nick do exactly what like H Coke said we were about to do? Like does Nick like single-handedly tarnish like the legacy of everything we've built? And like wouldn't that be like the sweetest revenge as well on his end with everyone just writing him off, right?
I mean, it would be quite, the big moment if he were able to do that. But the truth is that the damage to the legacy is already been done. And I'd even argue that if Jumper goes out and wins this Super Bowl, like so many predict him to, I think it hurts the legacy even more than what you're saying, because now that title of first to go back to back in league history, it's claimed by Jumper, and he only had to put in half of the work to get there. It, Normally, you win a Super Bowl, you beat 31 other users. Jumper wins this Super Bowl, he beat one, and it was one of the worst performing in the league's past. Now, and hey, it's been years. Okay, he's had plenty of years to refine his skills, go on his little training arc like he's Goku. But is did he do that, or did he slack off, get lazy? Um,
You know,
who knows?
I
But
would
that,
say this, you know, even if Jumper does pull it off, I don't think he has the right to say back to back
hmm, I think
because it's
I think
not.
that's fair too. Yeah, because you didn't the grind of the season, the battle to get to the Super Bowl. He did none of that. The Eagles, the real life Eagles, fought for the chance for Jumper to have the opportunity to do this, and the gracious hand of Bradley giving him a team in the Super Bowl, knowing that this was the gimmick. Um, a lot of things had to go right for this to happen, and it was all on chance.
You know, we could be talking about Jumper versus Bradley number two.
I mean, that's also true. But I like Bradley number two in this game more than I like Nick.
Really?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, Bradley number two, he's on the younger side, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm
You know,
assuming by now he's
actually,
at
I
that
think all
age.
three of them are probably about the same age.
I mean, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm not too well educated on the age of our Chiefs, Commanders, and Eagles, but I do know that Jumper maybe is like at this point, what is he like 17, 18? I have no clue, but I think Bradley, if I had to guess, I probably would say like in the past he was like 13. So
No, he wasn't that young. No, he wasn't.
well, if he was, by this point, he's now like a little more capable of thinking, maybe. Because like middle school's a rough time, and we
I
don't know
don't I don't
this.
I don't believe it. He was not that young. There's no, he wasn't. You're get off the crack. Get off the crack.
Well, I just hope he's gotten. I figure he might have
Yeah.
gotten better since then. I think I'd rather that than a proven loser who I kind of assume was like a 40-year-old man because he runs Madden Core, but you say he's like a teenager, so it could just be the same narrative. Who knows? I kind of just figured a guy with that much influence and power would be like an old boomer guy,
Not at
kind of
all.
like
Not at all.
Evo.
Not at all.
Yeah,
I don't know his exact age, but I believe he's about the same age as Jumper. But
I see.
yeah. Let's backtrack the conversation a little bit. You made a comment that I want to touch base on. You compared this to like I forget exactly how you said it, right? But you said something like I might not be a good speller, but if I'm in a spelling bee against my 7-year-old sister, then I'm gonna walk away with the win, right? So
I mean,
like, let
I
me
just
ask
like
you
to throw
this.
out there
Yeah.
that I'm not a bad speller. Okay, I can
Okay.
spell things very good. I think I'm well educated. That was just, you
A
know,
hypothetical. A
yeah,
hypothetical
of
that made
course.
sense. If you were to like, so you know how like the teams have overalls. Like if you were to give an overall to the users, what would the user overall be for Nick, and what would the user overall be for Jumper?
I think I'd give Jumper like you think about, like the best of the best 99, 90s like good, and then like 85 is like above average, and then 80 is kind of like the baseline for in my mind that's like average. You have a guy out there that's a starter, you probably want to be like an 80. I'd say Jumper probably around the middle of the pack, like an 80, but like Nick, from what I've seen gameplay wise, and granted, this is like a million years ago, basically dinosaur era. Okay, bro is like an undrafted, like 55 overall, like NBA 2K my player without any VC and no badges. Okay, because he had all the pieces and he just couldn't do anything with it. I- Bro's a brown shirt, plain and simple.
That's I think that that take on both of them is absurd, right? Like you give Jumper an 80 overall.
I mean, you look at the comp that we've brought into this league, and that's an entirely different story. The truth is, the NFC is loaded. And I think there's a chance, and I don't know the divisions, but I know there's all the good users are here in the NFC and the AFC is a cakewalk. There's a chance that maybe Jumper doesn't make the playoffs next year. Throwing it out there. I'd have to look at who has these
The
teams.
guy won a Super Bowl at the height of Illuminati, like our at our pinnacle, at the pinnacle of Illuminati. He was the reigning, defending world Super Bowl champion of the world.
Well, I mean, the truth
What does
is,
Jumper have to do to earn respect? Because he
I'm
apparently does not
sure
have it. Like, what does he have to do?
I'm sure he's got respect. He just
You
doesn't
just
have it from me.
you
He
just
just
gave the
has
guy an
have it from
80
me.
overall.
He doesn't have it from 80 overall solid. That's all
That's
right. That's a
garbage.
solid
That's
starter.
garbage.
What are you talking about?
Like
I I
the
painted
guy
the
won a
picture
Super Bowl. The guy won a Super
middle of the
Bowl.
pack. And you know what? It just goes to show how fraudulent it was. Okay, and now he's got a chance to double down on his fraudulence by taking one win and turning it into another ring on his grimy little fingers. Okay. I don't know if you want me to talk about because truthfully, I'm looking and his division uh looks terrible. So he's gonna win his division. Probably gonna make the playoffs. I
Who
mean,
does he have in his division?
so he's got Bradley number two, he's got Dash, and he's got 23s. Also, he would have played Luar. I'm now realizing he wouldn't have played Bradley. It could have been Luar versus um Luar versus Bradley number two, or Nick versus Bradley number two. I think Nick
Oh,
versus Bradley number two would have been amazing.
yeah.
But I feel like earlier we were painting as something else. Yeah, but I think his division sucks unless Dash. I mean, was Dash good?
I feel
I have
like
no
Dash was
idea.
good. I
I have
remember
no idea
Dash
if he was
being an
good.
integral part of the league. Maybe it was just in community engagement, though. I remember
Yeah, I don't
him being.
remember if he was good.
I remember him being a big part of the community.
Well, this other guy, 23s,
Yeah.
I don't know who this is. I've never seen this guy in my life.
Um,
So, like me, I don't. I'm sure he goes by something else that maybe I'd recognize.
yeah.
But 23s, I've got no idea. If I had to pick somebody to win this division, I probably would pick Jumper. But there's so many loaded teams in the NFC that I think somebody good is going to miss out on playoffs because all the players are over here.
Are you looking at the owners list right now?
I am.
Can you who's all in the AFC North? It's Stinky, BK, and Viva La Chuck, and then me, right?
Yes, that's right.
Listen, there's a very good chance that the AFC North legitimately will have three teams represented in the playoffs every single season.
I mean,
It's not going to be me. It's not going to be me. But
Is Viva LeChuck that guy? Because I also don't know who that is. BKO makes playoffs sometimes in
yeah,
Red Zone League, and then he doesn't, and he gets sad. From what I understand, that's the narrative over there. He misses the playoffs, he loses interest, gets sad. Um, he's got a tough division, so hopefully he doesn't get sad. I think that would be undesirable for him to be sad. I want that guy to be happy.
I got a feeling that BK is going to do very well. Right, I got a feeling he's going to do very well,
I
and
believe.
Stinky is him, right? Like Stinky's
I mean,
good, right?
he Stinky goes to many Super Bowls in our comp league, but he has yet to win one this cycle.
Okay,
But he goes there.
yeah,
Been there twice out of three. So, and he lost in the AFC Championship the time he didn't. But he only plays up until this point. He's only played in that league.
yeah.
He has not ventured outside until the Illuminati. We're just that big. We're that big of a deal, that groundbreaking that this is what broke him out of that shell that he's been in for this cycle. So,
Stinky usually only plays in one league.
I mean, this year he's played in one league.
Yeah,
So,
that's cool. That's cool. Now we need to get that other guy that only plays in one league.
Ragin.
Yeah, I want Ragin. I want Ragin.
I
I
mean,
followed up with him.
Ragin.
I followed up with him.
Ragin told me that you keep on pestering him about taking over. The truth is that guy, he's a loyalist through and
Yeah.
through. So would be a lot of work.
So like he told you about it. Was it like, man, I'm annoyed with this guy, or like
I
maybe?
think I think he might have been annoyed.
Okay. Okay.
As if it's not working. Uh I mean, but he's a busy guy, you know. He's like very successful in life and he plays Madden on the side and he plays it very good on the side. So that's a shock.
I think I can win him. I think I can win him over. I'll try again when the moment's right. Raging, by
Well,
chance, if you hear this, I'll hit you back up when the moment's right. I don't know when that
I'll
moment will
tell you
be,
what.
but when the moment's right, I'll hit you up, my guy.
He's a huge Falcons fan and
Okay.
always has the Falcons.
Okay,
Uh,
Falcons.
but
Noted.
but guess what?
Who's our
Our
Falcons owner?
Falcons, H Coke.
Oh, crap.
Like I said, the
Yo,
NFC is
Raging, I'll
loaded.
hit you up next cycle.
uh, yeah. So we'll see what happens. But I would back to the Super Bowl. I would love to see a competitive game. I hope it's competitive. Um, but we actually this is our second time doing this.
Yeah.
A little behind the scenes. Uh, we were in the middle of the thing. We were like 30 minutes, 45 minutes in, and he's like, I actually forgot. I forgot to have audio. I have to do it again. So we're here again. But one thing that we talked about was what did we talk about? I lost my train of thought. One of the things we were talking about, not helpful at all.
I think
Narrow it
you
down.
were going to hit on like who you have for the game
Oh, you know what? I was gonna
and
hit
the
on the
spread.
spread.
Yeah.
Yes. So one thing we brought up was the spread, and he was like, "I don't do sports betting," and I was like, "Well, if I put a spread on this game, I'm putting it 20 points in favor of Jumper, which, as has been made clear, it's not like I think Jumper is the greatest player of all time. It's just I think the difference between him and Nick is that big, particularly 25 overall points big. So there you go.
You know, I don't. I want Jumper to win. I feel like Jumper has to win. I have this feeling in my gut though that it's not going to be the game everybody's expecting. I don't think it's going to be lopsided. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think Jumper is going to do dumb things, right? Because he does that, right? Like he's dumb. Jumper does dumb things. So I think he's going to do dumb things during the game. And I have this feeling in my gut that Nick is going to pull this out.
Well, I have no confidence and I don't agree, but I'd actually like to backtrack a little. So you got my overall. What overall would you give Jumper and Nick? Okay.
What overall would I give Jumper and Nick?
Yes. Because you were appalled at my answer.
I
So
am. I
now
am
I need to
appalled.
hear.
I am appalled. So
Big question. A lot of thought goes into this sort of thing. I mean, I don't want to have to trash this guy and say that he's a 55 overall, but I just say what I see. I'm a simple guy.
So I'm gonna give two options. One option is like, okay, Jumper's my homie, so I'm gonna do him good, you know. And then the other option is like a more down to earth that I feel is a more like respectable and acceptable answer.
I think you should go with your unbiased, practical, you know,
Okay, Jumper,
give it to him
Jumper,
straight.
Jumper's my homie, bro. He's like a 92. Okay, he's like a 92, like low end, 94 high end, right? Like he's good. Jumper's good, you know. But like I understand that that's me being a biased homer. So I think a more acceptable answer that I feel like is fair across the board for Jumper would be like an 88, 89. I feel like that is fair and acceptable.
That's not that far from 80,
I feel like there's a huge difference between 80 and 88, 89. That's a huge difference.
I mean, that's pretty close. That's within like 9 points. Like, I don't know. Eh,
Okay,
I
let's
think,
look at it like this, okay? You have the option between two defensive ends, okay? One
uh-huh,
defensive end has 80 speed. The other defensive end has 89 speed.
uh-huh.
What do you think?
I think I'd want the guy with 89 speed.
But it's not that far. They're basically the
Uh,
same.
yeah, but why would I just take the guy who's worse? That sucks. I don't want to do that. I think your attempt at fooling me or this like what is it called? It's bad. It sucks. All right. Your little like hypothetical, your comparison is garbage. Okay. It's more like, do I want this super lame 89 overall who's like 78 speed on the edge, or do I want the 80 overall, like 90 speed, amazing pass rusher who's, that's more what it's like. Okay. Because this guy is not, he not all that.
Yeah.
Okay. He's not.
And I feel like an overall of 88, 89 encapsulates that, right? Like it's not all that. Like it leaves something to be desired, you know? As for Nick, I would say the overall I would give him would probably be. So I've never been my only experience in a league with Nick, right, was our run at Illuminati. You know? Like I've never been in a league with Nick where he's really been able to cook. But like I know there's more, you know? Um I would give him probably like a 76 overall.
76 is like first round pick, like one of the fifth overall pick of the draft, dude. 76 is unbelievable. I mean, you are really buying into this potential and the fact that he wins in other leagues. But what do we know about these other leagues that he wins in? And how does their competition compare to somewhere like this where we have guys from all over, the sweatiest of sweats, and like Joe got off his 9 to 5 and is ready to play some football? Because I'm sure his league, it's all like these guys that get off their 9 to 5, get on and get whooped by this guy by 21 points. But when he's playing dudes who take it serious, can he step it up? And I think that's what we're gonna, I think that's where we failed to see him come up big.
I don't end of day. I don't think this game is going to be what the league is making it out. I think the general consensus across the board is Jumper is going to run away with it.
Literally gonna run away with it.
I think it's going to be a lot closer than what people.
Gonna be unbelievable that he's running it. He's running like he is in this game where they hate running.
Yeah.
Running in this game is miserable, and he's just gonna do it because that's the difference between their.
I do know, and we talked about this in our previous attempt at doing this. I do know that Jumper has fresh legs. I seen in the Discord chat of another league today, they were talking about how Jumper had just won a bowl in another league. So like we talk about how like Nick hypothetically maybe he wins in other leagues and we've heard he does, right? While we've heard it and we're uncertain on like the facts of it, what is facts is Jumper is a multi-league guy who's out winning bowls in multiple leagues. And that raises the question even more. What does this guy have to do to earn your respect, Steady? Has Jumper ever been in the kingdom? He's been in the kingdom, right?
Yeah. He was in the kingdom,
Did he win a bowl in the kingdom?
he won a bowl in the kingdom at some points.
Yeah.
But it was very early on in my tenure, like one of the first, maybe even the first year that I was around, and people were not impressed, much like probably they are now. So, but I think the kingdom has really amped it up since then.
Yeah. What
They
does
have
that
some real
say though?
ballers.
What does that say though about a guy who's like out here winning bowls in at least 3 confirmed leagues, but be like, he's a bum. Like,
Well, when you get the best of the best, I think things flip. Okay, your typical league, he can go ahead and win those. There's if everyone's average, average can win, right? But when you went out of your way to grab the best of the best to create, this concoction of perfection, it becomes a lot harder for average to stick out. And I think that maybe could be what we see at the start of this next Illuminati, the full season. Okay.
yeah.
But we also play on sim and anything's possible. So, I mean, who knows?
Final question before we wrap this up. Illuminati season 4. Who's going to be in the bowl? And like, what's Jumper's chance of being there? Give me a
I'm gonna
percentage on his chance and your prediction on who you think will be there.
I'm gonna go ahead and give Jumper a 0.1% chance because I think the NFC is loaded. And I'm also gonna go ahead and guarantee that he will not be representing the NFC in the Super Bowl in season 4. There is way too many obstacles for him to overcome. And maybe then, and only then, I mean, I don't know what like these divisions are shaped out, but I know a lot of guys that I think are set up to be ringers are over here. And if he somehow dodges them all in the playoffs, like he has like the perfect bracket. I mean, I don't know if you pay attention to college football, but that kind of happened for Penn State where they had like a crazy bracket fall in their favor. If we see that, then it'll be hard. But if he can play some guys on the way to another bowl, maybe then and only then will he get the respect from me that you think he so much deserves. But I don't think it's going to happen. And maybe it'd be a little arrogant of me to say this, but I think it'll be me coming out on top with these Packers of mine, okay, in the NFC. And in the AFC, I feel like there's not a ton of options. I think you really like the Steelers and BKO, and I'm just not seeing it. From what I understand, Luar's been playing Fortnite instead of football, so I don't think he's going to be all that. Cheech plays in Red Zone League Super Bowls. I actually played in there for 2 cycles or 2 seasons, and I beat Cheech in back-to-back Super Bowls for the only every year that I played in their Madden League, I won. So, but Cheech can go there, and that's totally a normal thing. But I do think it'll be probably Stinky who goes ahead and makes that run, and that's kind of the big front runner on that side. Were you asking for odds?
No, I was just asking who you thought would be there.
Okay.
Let me ask
Well,
this as well, and
go
you'll
ahead.
probably like this question. If it is you versus Stinky in Illuminati Bowl 4, what does that say about the kingdom?
I mean, we've handcrafted a great league that, really emphasizes improvement. I mean, we've had guys that were bottom of the barrel who've went ahead and they keep playing these games against these solid users and they get better. And that's really what it takes. When you lose a lot, you get better. I mean, even I in Madden 20, I was the worst. I was terrible. I would pick at number 2 and eventually I got better. So these dudes who stick with it, they can improve and we've kind of cultivated that. I mean, Stinky kind of grew up in the kingdom. Like that guy's like I mean, he started playing when he was like 12, dude. He's just now college aged, and he's trying to do that. But we've cultivated guys who have learned how to win, and I think that'll show if we can dominate the top of the standings.
That's very well said. But when Jumper wins this bowl and he just absolutely dominates in season 4 and makes it to the bowl and shuts Stinky out in the bowl, like it's gonna be great. It's gonna be
I
great.
mean, that would be an absolute shock. I
What would
mean,
you
what do you
do?
even
What would
say
you
at that
do
point?
if Jumper just ran like roughshod over the
I
NFC,
think
collides with Stinky and shuts him out in the Super Bowl?
I think there's just no world where that happens. I think in that case, hell is frozen over. Nothing is real. The world is a
That's my
simulation.
prediction. That's my prediction for what's happening in season 4.
Well, it won't. And
Maybe mainly
I'd
to
love
just
for
be a
you
troll.
to go ahead and put a bet on that and just go completely bankrupt. Like, go put
Yeah.
the house on it. Not happening.
All right. Steady. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And we will see you all Thursday night, February
Big game.
6th, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, peace.